The year was 1995, and the streets of Bangkok, Thailand were drenched in the monsoon rain. The sky rumbled with thunder as people rushed for shelter, their umbrellas barely withstanding the fierce downpour. Vendors hurriedly packed their stalls, while motorbikes splashed through the puddles, drenching those unlucky enough to be walking nearby. In the dim glow of a flickering street lamp, a small figure shivered under an old market stall. A frail girl, no older than 6, sat curled up on the damp ground, her arms wrapped around her tiny body. Her thin, tattered dress was soaked, her bare feet muddy and cold. She was alone. Her name was Mei Lin. Her parents had perished in a tragic bus accident, leaving her with no relatives to care for her. She had wandered the streets for days, her stomach aching from hunger. She tried begging, but most people ignored her or chased her away like a stray dog. Then, amidst the rain and chaos, a woman stopped. She wore a deep blue cheongsam, simple yet elegant, her neatly tied bun barely disturbed by the wind. She held a woven basket filled with vegetables, herbs, and fresh fish, her daily haul from the market. Her name was Madam Lian. The woman knelt beside the child, concern deepening the creases on her face. "Little one, what are you doing here?" Mei Lin hesitated, her lips trembling. I have no home," she whispered. Madam Lian's heart ached. Without a second thought, she removed her silk shawl and draped it around the child's fragile shoulders. The warmth was immediate, and for the first time in days, Mei Lin felt a sliver of comfort. "Come with me," Madame Lian said gently. And so, Madame Lian took Mei Lin home. Madam Lian lived in a modest tea house by the river, where the scent of jasmine and oolong tea filled the air. She had no family of her own, having lost her husband years ago, and spent her days running the tea shop alone. She nursed Mei Lin back to health, feeding her warm bowls of congee, brushing her hair, and even teaching her how to read and write. For the first time, Mei Lin knew what it felt like to be loved. But fate was cruel. The tea house, once a thriving business, fell into debt. Fewer customers came, and soon Madam Lian struggled to afford even a simple bowl of rice. No matter how much she tried, her debts kept piling up. One evening, as Mei Lin helped her sweep the wooden floors, Madam Lian sat her down with sorrow in her eyes. "My child," she whispered, "I can no longer care for you." Mei Lin's eyes widened in horror. "No, I'll help, I'll work." Madam Lian smiled sadly, tucking a loose strand of hair behind Mei Lin's ear. "I have found an orphanage for you. They will take care of you, give you a future." Mei Lin sobbed, gripping the woman's hands. "But I don't want to leave you." Madame Lian wiped the girl's tears, her own eyes glistening. "One day, you will find happiness, and if fate allows, we will meet again." And just like that, Mei Lin was sent away. She cried for days, longing for Madame Lian's embrace, but time moved forward, and eventually she was adopted by a wealthy Chinese-American couple. She moved to Shanghai, leaving her past behind. The little girl who once begged on the streets grew into a powerful woman. Mei Lin had the best education, traveling between Shanghai, Hong Kong, and New York, learning the ways of business and high society. By her late 20s, she was a successful entrepreneur, known for her intelligence and elegance. She married Zhang Wei, a billionaire businessman, and together they built an empire of luxury hotels and high-end fashion brands. She had everything: wealth, power, love, but deep down she never forgot the woman who had saved her, the woman who had given her warmth when the world had abandoned her. The moment Mei Lin returned to Thailand, her first mission was to find Madam Lian. She hired private investigators, searching through old records, visiting the orphanage, even placing advertisements in newspapers and on TV. For months, she scoured the streets, asking vendors, visiting old tea shops, hoping for a clue. But Madam Lian was nowhere to be found. Hope began to fade. until one fateful evening. As her black Rolls-Royce cruised through the bustling streets of Bangkok, she noticed something that made her heart stop. A frail old woman, dressed in worn-out rags, sitting near a temple begging for food. Mei Lin's breath caught in her throat, her fingers clenched against the leather seat. "Stop the car," she commanded. She stepped out, her designer heels clicking against the pavement, her elegant qipao flowing behind her. She approached the old woman, her heart hammering in her chest. "Madam Lian," she whispered. The frail woman looked up, squinting through failing eyesight. Her once beautiful hair was now streaked with silver, her hands trembling. Mei Lin fell to her knees, tears spilling down her cheeks. "It's me, Mei Lin." Madam Lian gasped, her lips parting in disbelief. "Mei Lin?" Her voice cracked, barely above a whisper. "Yes," Mei Lin sobbed. "I have searched everywhere for you." Tears welled in Madam Lian's eyes. "My child, you came back." Without hesitation, Mei Lin embraced her, as if afraid to let go. "You saved me when I had nothing. Now it's my turn to save you." That night, Mei Lin brought Madam Lian to her mansion, ensuring she would never struggle again. She gave her the best medical care, luxurious comfort, and most importantly, love. Madam Lian spent the rest of her years in peace, surrounded by warmth, laughter, and a family she had never expected. Because kindness always finds its way back.